I own an island off the coast of Costa Rica. Really spectacular, spared no expense. For this place, I wanted to show them something that wasn't an illusion. Something that was real.
Can anyone hear me? This is Dr. Maya Joshi. I've been left behind on Isla Nublar. Is anyone there?
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our first ever Jurassic Park Survival video. Oh boy, it's finally happened. A horror first-person survival video game that's officially licensed by Universal in the Jurassic Park universes is being made, is being developed, and we get our first look of it today. Last night at the Game Awards, which nobody even told me about was going on because I was so focused on the GTA 6 trailer, we got our first trailer for the Jurassic Park Survival video game, and you can imagine my surprise when I woke up and saw the trailer. Oh boy, wow, it looks good, I can tell you that for a fact. Hopefully I've put it at the start of this video. If not, then that means I've cropped it out because of some copyright issues. However, it just looks so good. I'm going to be doing a trailer breakdown like I usually do for this type of thing. And boy, I'll explain at the end why I'm so happy, why I'm so excited for this video game. Hopefully some of you guys already know, considering that we've literally been talking about this survival video game for 2 years now, ever since we said that it was being in development. Even last week, I believe, in my Jurassic World Evolution 3 video that we mentioned, we actually brought up the Jurassic Park Survival video game that's yet to be announced, and we didn't know what was going on with it, but now we do, and thankfully, it's happening. Right, without any further ado, let's get into this trailer breakdown and get into my first thoughts and opinions. So straight off the bat, we're actually given some pre-rendered footage, so not everything in this trailer is official alpha footage, we must remember that. Yes, we do have alpha gameplay to try and understand how the game is going to look like. However, a lot of this trailer is going to be pre-rendered footage since it is just an announcement trailer. I hope that makes sense. But yes, we load up with the infamous John Hammond line saying that he owns an island off the coast of Costa Rica with the Jurassic Park theme in the background as well. Not only that, but we get the rising shot where we're looking at the Pacific Ocean, then onto Isla Nublar, which is absolutely beautiful and something I absolutely adore from the first movie. After this, we get our first shot of the Jurassic Park Jeep without a roof, and you must be wondering why without a roof. Well, ladies and gents, that is the same Jeep that was left right at the end of the Jurassic Park movie back in 1993, where Alan Grant, Ian Malcolm, Ellie Sattler, John Hammond, maybe the kids, I'm not too sure, actually escaped from. Yes, it's the same one. How insane is that? They even park it in the same area right next to the helipad where they then take off from. So it is quite clear that whilst we do know that this does take place in 1993, this video game takes place probably hours after the events of Jurassic Park, which is quite interesting because I don't think we've actually explored Isla Nublar in any way besides some documents from Chaos Theorem adding stuff into canon. So this might be our first way to explore Isla Nublar and Jurassic Park after the events of the movie. Now we're not going to talk about the canon status, I'm going to talk on it very briefly here. I don't think it is going to be full canon, maybe soft canon, we'll have to wait and see. But don't expect this to be full canon, or shall I say strong canon, like we have for the Star Wars video games, for example. I highly doubt that this Jurassic Park video game is going to be focusing on canon too much. But it is quite nice that they are paying attention to detail already, only 2 shots into the trailer. Once again, we're given another shot of the Jeep that Tim was in. The way that we can tell this is because one tyre has been ripped off because Rexy ripped that off. This could just be any Jeep that fell down off of a tree. Because, let's be honest, there's a chance that that could have happened. However, we know this is the specific one from the movie because the tyre has been ripped off from Rexy. But again, another cool attention to detail. And then we have the camera that then pans up right to the moat area, let's say, because some people still get confused about what happened in the Jurassic Park movie. But then we get the camera panning up to where the Jeep actually fell down and how the tree has now been knocked down by the looks of it as well. So already, 3 shots in and we're getting so many nice attention to details and Easter eggs from the first original movie. And trust me, it doesn't just stop there, we've got a lot more to cover. After this, we get Gallimimuses running around on the remaining Jeep. Again, another great attention to detail. But the reason why we see the Gallimimuses is because we know that they were very close to the Tyrannosaurus Rex exhibit, and again we see that in the movie. It doesn't take Rexy all that long to go ahead and kill a Gallimimus. Therefore the Gallimimuses within, let's say, maybe 2 or 3 hours have migrated somehow towards the Tyrannosaurus Rex exhibit to where this scene took place. But one little nitpick here. One tiny nitpick. I know I'm going to sound like a paleo Twitter person right now, but one nitpick I have right here is that the Gallimimus models are Jurassic World models. They're not Jurassic Park models, unfortunately. Although some of them do look Jurassic Parky, you can see that they are Jurassic World models and Jurassic World skin patterns. They look very similar with the skin pattern when it comes to Jurassic World Evolution 2 as well. So hopefully that's something that's very easy to change, because I really do love and adore the Jurassic Park skin of just orange and white from 1993. So I really do hope that they do go ahead and maybe change this to just make it a little bit more accurate. You know, I'm not too fussed if that's the big deal, but if you want to immerse us into the Jurassic Park vibe and setting, then obviously skins, people are going to look at the dinosaur skin patterns very thoroughly. So changing this from the Jurassic World variants to the Jurassic Park variants might be a better option for Sabretooth to do. Now a hat is left behind here where a Gallimimus then stomps on. It's amazing. I literally watched Jurassic Park a month ago and I can't actually remember if the hat from Alan Grant that gets blown off from the nostrils of the Tyrannosaurus remains there, or if he manages to get his hat by the end of the movie. I remember Billy getting it in Jurassic Park 3, but if he doesn't, then this is clearly Alan Grant's hat that was blown off his head. I just can't remember, so someone please do correct me in the comments. We get a glorious, and I do mean glorious, shot of the visitor center. Now a storm is coming through Isla Nublar by the looks of it, so because we know that they evacuated after the storm, or a storm, and they evacuated during the daytime, this shot is taking place during the nighttime, so maybe a few hours has passed, or perhaps they actually evacuated from the storm during the eye of the storm. As we know, the eye of the storm is typically called as the calm before the storm, because what happens, if I remember correctly from my year 8 geography lessons, the eye of the storm basically passes over and people think that the storm has ended, only for a couple hours later the storm to then continue. So what I presume happened in this possible universe is that for Jurassic Park Survival, the storm occurred, then they evacuated, but they evacuated during the eye of the storm, and the storm has now returned, let's say 2 or 3 hours later, because the rest of the storm is now following through. So the person that you're going to be playing as, Maya Joshi, she's now getting the full impact of the rest of the storm coming through Isla Nublar and the rest of the Pacific Ocean. That's what my assumption is for this scene, because it just seems like it's a bit odd to have a storm, then no storm, then a storm within the same day, if that makes sense. So I assume that they actually evacuated during the eye of the storm, and that explains why we now see darkness and wind and rain and thunderstorms everywhere. Once again, we get an inside shot of the visitor center, and we can see that pretty much everything fell exactly how we see in the shot. The skull of the Tyrannosaurus is on the stairs, the backbone or the spine towards the tail is still hanging, and the rest and the ribcage have actually fallen down. Exactly how we see it in the movie. So, you know, whoever was able to create this announcement trailer and told them what to do, fair play to you, because you have absolutely nailed it. Like, it looks great. Within this scene, we also get our first information of who we're going to be playing as, and that is Dr. Maya Joshi. Not too sure who she is as a person, however she does mention that she is a doctor, so obviously she worked on the island and she's not a stowaway or some kind of person like that. She worked on the island, maybe a veterinarian, maybe a scientist, we just have to wait and see. But during this scene when we get to hear her talk, we actually get some atmospheric cinematics going on where we can clearly see a 3-clawed dinosaur has gone through this area. Now, what is this area, you might think? Well, if you pause it right at the start of the scene on the very first frame, we can see what seems to be the Jurassic Park mural in the background, which means that this is where the infamous Jello scene happened, where Lex and Tim notice the velociraptors in pretty much the same room as them after he gets electrocuted and they start to eat all the ice cream and jelly. So again, another great attention to detail, proving that there was a velociraptor in this area. Now, Dr. Maya Joshi says that she was left behind on Isla Nublar, and she has a British accent, so we are going to be having one of our first main focused British characters in the Jurassic Park franchise, which, come to think of it, I don't really remember too many. I know there was definitely some of them, don't you worry, like, you know, Iris for example, and of course we have Zara as well, but they weren't really main characters, and it's nice to see that we are now exploring the overall world and people coming from different areas as main characters rather than basically the Americas. But yeah, since she does mention that she is left behind on Isla Nublar, it's clear, and it's quite obvious, that they saw how good Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous' story ended up, that they thought, I wonder if we could do that again, but instead in Jurassic Park. If you guys haven't watched Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, which is canon to the main timeline of the Jurassic universe, basically 6 campers were left behind in the evacuation of Jurassic World, and they have to survive Isla Nublar. That seems to be the exact same thing that's going on here. Maya Joshi has been left behind during the evacuation of Jurassic Park, and now she has to survive Isla Nublar. So, I don't know whether or not they decided to copy that on purpose. It just seems very, very similar, and the parallels are definitely there. We get our first look at Maya Joshi, and I'll be honest, I'm sure somebody can tell me who the actress is, because I recognise her face from somewhere, and I recognise her voice from somewhere. For some reason, I've actually tried to look to see if I can find out who plays Maya Joshi. I can't. I don't know why, so please, if you remember this actress's name, let me know, because her face is very recognisable, and I can't remember where from. But while she is injured and she is looking down during a cinematic pre-rendered shot, we then hear the little hoots, the little tweets of the Dilophosaurus, which seems to be the main kind of bad guy in this trailer for some reason, just hunting her down for no reason. Now, they have made her outfit very 1993-esque, very similar to Ellie Sattler, and they've also used the exact same torches that were shown in the Jurassic Park movie as well. So again, another great attention to detail right there, which is almost perfect. And as I mentioned, her outfit is very early 90s-esque as well, so they did a great job in designing her outfit as she runs away from the Dilophosaurus into the infamous kitchen. Yeah, I know, they love this kitchen scene. Again, they did this in Camp Cretaceous. We now know that it's completely destroyed and was set on fire last time we saw. But she does exactly the same thing as to what we saw during Jurassic Park with Lex and Tim. She goes straight to the same area in the kitchen to try and hide away from a carnivore dinosaur. In Lex and Tim's fault, it was basically the Velociraptor. But in Maya Joshi's now new universe, it's a Dilophosaurus who seem to have learned how to open doors as well. So the Dilophosaurus walks through, which looks fantastic by the way, causing her to be scared and practically has the exact same reaction as to what Tim had. She then tries to escape knowing that the Dilophosaurus is somewhere inside the same room as her. However, just like what Tim did, accidentally knocks down or makes sound with a ladle, or ladle, however you want to pronounce it. And she shits herself, gets scared, and she realises that the Dilophosaurus has heard her. So she throws the torch at the Dilophosaurus and runs. Very similar to what we had with Lex and Tim. However, what is so important with this scene is that it doesn't follow Maya Joshi when she runs away. We look directly at the cold storage facility. Now, you must be thinking, why is the camera focusing on the cold storage for so long? Well, if you guys remember correctly from Jurassic Park, Tim actually locked in a Velociraptor within this cold storage, and we assumed that it froze to death, and we were asking and we were begging for so long, why did Camp Cretaceous not show the frozen Velociraptor in this storage? Well, if Jurassic Park Survival is canon in any way, and the very last shot of the trailer, which we will mention, don't worry, is anything to go by, that's because this Velociraptor did not freeze to death. and actually survived. Yeah, I know, crazy theory, crazy thought, but we'll get into that later. After this, we get more beautiful pre-rendered shots of the jungle of Isla Nublar as Maya Joshi is being chased down by the Dilophosaurus. During this scene, she is now contacted again by one of the people on the radio. However, because of the storm, it's very staticky and doesn't really come across as if Maya knows if they can hear her or not. She scrambles to ask if anybody is there, not before the Dilophosaurus pokes his glorious head past the tree line. And that is exactly what happened with Dennis Nedry. The Dilophosaurus wanted to play around with Dennis Nedry, poke his head around a tree, make the exact same hooting sound, but my goodness, I know this is pre-rendered footage and it's not in-game footage, but this Dilophosaurus, it looks beautiful. It looks incredible. I absolutely love it, and it's the only dinosaur that we have seen so far besides Gallimimus. Maya Joshi now comes face to face with the Dilophosaurus, who again is very intrigued by her appearance, same way how he was for Nedry. Now, I believe there was definitely more than one Dilophosaurus in Jurassic Park, so I'm not even too sure if this is the same one that saw Dennis Nedry. I doubt it just because of the way that it's acting, because we assume that this is probably one of the first times that it saw a human other than John Hammond, which we know imprinted on every single dinosaur. So I just assume that this is a new Dilophosaurus because of the way that he's acting towards Maya Joshi, kind of squaring her up. However, because of how quickly the Dilophosaurus spreads his frill and spits at Maya Joshi, you could make the claim that this is the same Dilophosaurus that took down Nedry. However, we also know that Dilophosaurus may have got locked in the vehicle. We just have to wait and see, because I'm sure that this video game will show us that. Maya Joshi makes her escape before being spat on by the Dilophosaurus to the infamous Jurassic Park gates, which are still lit up by the way, which confirms that it's pretty much only a few hours after the events of Jurassic Park. However, things don't go too easy for her. She may think that she's now in the clear after leaving the gates of Jurassic Park away from all of the exhibits of the dinosaurs, but she looks down, she sees the ripples in the water within a Tyrannosaurus Rex footprint, which is something that we've been waiting for a long time. Where is Rexy? Well, ladies and gents, Rexy is right behind her. With the sounds from the original Jurassic Park, she does look slightly different than to her movie counterpart, and obviously I can't really see if there's any scars on her just yet because the scratches have just happened from the Velociraptors. But she is here, she sees Maya Joshi, and what does she do? She does the infamous Jurassic Park thing to do, just like Alan Grant, just like Ian Malcolm, and pull out the flare, which may actually be a very prominent feature in this video game. We may be able to collect flares around the park, and whenever we see a dinosaur nearby that we don't want to know we are nearby, maybe we throw a flare and the dinosaur gets distracted and we're able to then pass on to the next level because the dinosaur is distracted by the flare and doesn't see us. So I do presume that flares are going to be a major part of this video game. And then we get the best shot of the trailer of Rexy coming face to face with Maya Joshi with a flare. Now obviously we saw how the flares do work in the movie, so I assume she just throws away the flare here, stands still, and because she's a doctor, she probably knows that the T-Rex is going to follow the flare and not go for her. So again, something that's pretty cool. And after this, we finally, and I do mean finally, get some in-game footage, and this confirms that it will be first person. We will have some kind of jumping mechanic probably. We have the bunker from Jurassic Park in the game as well. We have Velociraptors pretty much confirmed. Now, I'm not going to speculate too much because I believe there was 4 or 5 Velociraptors, maybe only 2 survived in Jurassic Park. But since we do see a Velociraptor in this in-game footage, and this does take place after the events of 1993's Jurassic Park, and because of that infamous scene right at the end of this trailer, I can assure you that I'm pretty certain, I'm about 80% certain that this Velociraptor that we see in the in-game footage is the Velociraptor that was trapped in the ice cooling facility storage thanks to Tim and Lex during Jurassic Park. Again, I don't want to speculate too much on that, I could be wrong because, there could be other Velociraptors about, but it seems like this Velociraptor was the only one that seems to be alive, and because we see the scene at the end of the trailer where the door actually opens and we don't see this frozen body in Camp Cretaceous when they made their way to the kitchen in Season 3, then I can only assume that this Velociraptor that we see right here is the last remaining one on Isla Nublar and was the one in cold storage. However, nonetheless, it seems like it's going to be a first-person thrilling game where you actually get to see the feet of the characters, which many first-person games don't really do these days. We also get to see Rexy, and it seems as though Maya Joshi is in a tunnel. I'm not too sure what kind of tunnel this is. The only tunnel I can think of from Jurassic Park was the one where Lex was hiding in when Grant went to go get Tim. and we kind of had water, but that was a little bit higher because there was like a little water fountain that they could use. It wasn't exactly ground level, so I'm not too sure where this tunnel is. I'm trying to look in the background. I don't really see too much in the background that gives away exactly where this could be, but either way, we are having to escape the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Again, I believe that this is probably just some kind of cinematic for the time being, because I highly doubt there's going to be a mechanic where we can trip over. So what happens basically is that you have to outrun the T-Rex, and I assume then it will cut to a cutscene where it shows this exact scene right here, and you narrowly escape the jaws of Rexy. And then after this, we get the title confirmation of Jurassic Park Survival, with the rain going on in the background, which pretty much shows that the storm is going to be a main feature of this video game. Now, unfortunately, no release date quite yet, which is quite shocking. You know, at least GTA 6 gave us some kind of release date. Yes, it might be March of 2025, but, you know, at least we know how long we're going to have to wait. Considering we had Jurassic World Survivor at one point set to release in 2021, and then absolutely nothing happened with it, you can understand why the fans can be a bit worried that there's no release date here. I would assume that a June 2024 release date would make the most sense. Going into 2025 doesn't really make too much sense. It seems like they've got a lot of the fundamentals of this video game done and dusted. It looks great already in an alpha version of the game, and it's not as big of a game as GTA 6. So I highly doubt they'd announce a trailer now just to release it in 2025. So in my opinion, to fill in that month of Jurassic where we have no movies coming out, it makes sense to go for June 2024 release date, but that's just my assumption and my prediction. And then in June 2025, we can have that rumoured Jurassic movie or series, whatever's supposed to be happening there, which makes more sense to me as well. So yeah, hopefully it's going to be a June 2024 release date and we don't have to wait too long. But again, the trailer then ends off with the door of the cold storage opening, which can only be the Velociraptor. Right at the end of the trailer, we get to see that it is going to be releasing on PS5s, on both Xbox Series X and S, and interestingly, they just say PC, which is slightly worrying because typically when announcement trailers do say PC, they mean a physical copy. And obviously, you know, the year is 2024. I highly doubt there's going to be many PCs that can run a game like this that has a disc tray. So I'm not too sure what's going on here. Usually they should say Steam and Epic Games. But I still probably have high hopes that it is going to be released on Steam and Epic Games, because if you say PC, those are the two main sources that you're probably going to be expecting to get your games from. But again, no release date quite yet, unfortunately. But we do get a website to delve into, and they say on the website, "Welcome to Jurassic Park Survival. Return to Isla Nublar the day after," okay, there's a time frame, "the day after the events of the beloved 1993 Jurassic Park film in an original adventure 65 million years in the making." I really love that pickup line. Survive thrilling first-person action as Ingen Scientist Dr. Maya Joshi, who was unable to evacuate Isla Nublar in this single-player action-adventure game and discover a never-before-told story. I'm not too sure how true that never-before-told story is, considering it's basically Camp Cretaceous, just a Jurassic Park setting. Through thrilling encounters, experience the wonder and the dangers of dinosaurs, each with their own distinct and adaptive behaviours brought to life by John Hammond's vision. We get to explore Isla Nublar, adventure through a fully realised Isla Nublar filled with reactive wildlife, dinosaurs, and other surprising threats, from the iconic tower in Jurassic Park gates to the visitor centre and beyond. Jurassic Park comes alive like never before. Now that sentence there is actually quite interesting. Firstly, reactive wildlife. So these dinosaurs are literally just going to be walking around, and then if they spot you, they'll hunt you. That's what reactive wildlife is. Well, I hope so, because that's what reactive wildlife is in other video games very similar to this. So I do hope that that's what's going to be happening here. But what they do say here is that Isla Nublar is filled with dinosaurs and other surprising threats. What do they mean by other surprising threats? Would it be other characters that were left behind that may kill us or set out to kill us to keep us quiet about what happened on Isla Nublar? Something like that. And what other type of dinosaurs? We only saw Gallimimus, Dilophosaurus, Rex, and Velociraptor. As we know, there are many dinosaurs on the island, such as Stegosaurus, Metriacanthosaurus, Proceratosaurus, Stegosaurus, that we never got to see in Jurassic Park. So, maybe those dinosaurs, some of which have never before appeared in a movie whatsoever and never before appeared in a video game. The movie ones being Proceratosaurus and Metriacanthosaurus, the video games and movie being Stegosaurus. Maybe those dinosaurs we might eventually get to see. We'll have to wait and see. We have to evade prehistoric predators, outsmart, escape and interact with the film's iconic dinosaurs, Use your ingenuity through distraction and stealth to navigate intense and unforgettable encounters in a journey to outlast some of the deadliest creatures to ever walk the earth. Again, reactive dinosaur species there, where I assume you basically throw a flare and then the dinosaurs will go and follow that, and then that way you can navigate stealthily. And of course, survive the island. Explore the park and face its dangers. Use all of the resources at your disposal to find intelligent solutions to endure the many threats lurking on Isla Nublar. Now it says survive the island. I do hope that's the entire island, because it would be pretty cool to drive around a Jeep on Isla Nublar during Jurassic Park. Don't know about you, but that sounds awesome to me. But yes, that's pretty much all of the information that we got for Jurassic Park Survival. There's obviously a new Twitter account available. There's new TikToks, Instagram, everything. So go ahead and go follow them. And I think that pretty much wraps up our trailer breakdown. I know this video, wow, 30 minutes. I did not expect to be talking about this for 30 minutes. But yeah, that wraps up the trailer breakdown. My first thoughts and opinions. It looks great, man. It looks good. I feel relaxed as a fan. I'm so good. This confirms like another one of our scoops as well that we confirmed like 2 years ago, and I'm so happy about that. But most importantly, and one thing I do want to talk about but don't want to be too much of a negative Nancy, is that the only thing I am slightly disappointed about is that it's set in the Jurassic Park era. Don't get me wrong, it's pretty cool because we get to see the park after the events of the 1993 movie. However, because this isn't technically full canon, I'm not too sure if it's going to be as fun as exploring a whole world full of dinosaurs in a Jurassic World themed dinosaur game or Jurassic World themed survival game. However, that doesn't mean I want Jurassic Park Survival to fail. I want it to do well. I want it to be an absolute great success. I want it to be incredible. So everybody, please go out and purchase Jurassic Park Survival. Make it happen, because hopefully with all of the sales, with the success that it does have, maybe, just maybe, we might get a Jurassic World themed game very similar to this one. That would be my dream. That would be many people's dream, and I think the majority of people's dream as well. But anyways guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, then go ahead and press that like button. And why not, since we're getting closer to 200,000 subscribers before the end of the year, we're literally like 1,050 subscribers away, press that subscribe button so we can hit that incredible target and you can stay up to date on everything to do with Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, and Jurassic Park Survival now, which is very exciting. But most importantly, all I ask for from you guys today is to make sure you're all staying safe out there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.